Okay, so I know Splat domination shouldn't be a tool for personal feelings, but I'm going to make this video anyways. This isn't a news video, it's more of a structured rant. If you're easily offended, watch the video please, because some of these points will target you. I'm also going to talk about other issues in this community. Some of these are my personal views, but many others agree with these points as well. The Splatoon community has certain people in it. People who you would refer as sensitive. Again, this isn't everyone in the community. Nobody should have the ability to represent the whole community. That's complete bullshit. One thing/image does not represent a grander scheme. I'm not going to call out these people individually. Well, because one, I'd be here all day long. But out of respect. Now what I just said, out of respect, you will say, will contradict some of my arguments. But just keep watching. I'm not saying my views are perfect, but they're views most people can get behind. When I call somebody a cunt in a server, please don't take it out of context. Now, nobody has done this is just an example. But when I call someone a cunt, don't just assume that I hate this person, that I'm a bad egg, yada yada yada. Because 9 times out of 10, it's how I communicate with my friends and other people, with hashtag edgy LMAO jokes. What annoys me is that I have to change my persona in some of these big Splatoon servers. Almost. Now, I like getting reactions out of people. I'm a prick. It's what I do. It's what gets me off. It's what helps me wake up in the morning. But that does not make me a hateful person. It's a joke. The person that I target may not like the joke very much. You should honestly take it with a grain of salt and roll with the punches. Like, for fuck's sake, there's worse things in the world than a small little joke. But let's just say that you cannot handle it. Fine, you have every right not to put up with it. Say to me, hey man, I don't really like that. Can you not next time? Thanks. Honestly, you should never ever say that if someone makes a small petty joke about you. Like one off. But now here's the thing. People love to compare small little issues to bigger issues. For example, if I roast Dadsy's hairline, that's a small issue, a joke. People laugh, people forget. If I say it again, Dadsy says he doesn't like it, okay, I'll stop. That's a small issue, solved. If I, for example, call Dadsy a nigger-loving Jew, well that is not okay. Daddy has every right to be offended, and he can say to me, hey, don't be a racist dick, and everyone else has the right to call me out on that too. However, if I make fun of Dadsy's hairline and you call me out on it, well first of all, that's really nitpicking and you shouldn't be interested in it. If I continue to keep insulting Dadsy about his hairline, he says stop, then you can be the online hero and support Dadsy. What I just said will mostly be used against me now. You're gonna say, so Sean, you're saying if I see a bunch of bitches calling a girl fat, I should just stay out of it? And my response is, no, of course not. If it's a running gag with the girls, and you personally get offended over it, well then kindly fuck off, and just stay out of our gene pool please. Joke by the way in case you're brain dead. Now, I've made the mistake of complaining about people being the hero in servers. Yeah, I suppose you have the right to call assholes like me out. But my next point is, to not get fucking bent out of shape about it. First, check if the person being insulted thinks it's funny. It isn't? Okay, call out the asshole. Next, tell the asshole to stop once. If they continue to keep insulting the person, then that warrants a ban. But you do not speak for the quote-unquote target in a petty situation. You can speak and act for someone if they're being racially abused, sexually bullied, etc. Of course, step right in, no questions asked. But look at this situation. Think to yourself, what that person just did to that other person, was it really that bad? Like if it was clearly a joke, then what gives you the right to make a big deal out of calling them out? And no, the person can't rape someone and say, oh, it was a joke. You don't just call them out, you call the fucking police. Now, call a person out if you genuinely think that their intention is to hurt the other person. Though, personally, I don't get too offended over words, but that's just me. But if it's a joke, then it's a joke. Even if you personally don't think it's funny, or anyone else does, one person did. That one asshole that said it. And guess what? That person is a part of everyone else, so technically, someone found it funny. What I'm trying to say is, don't label jokes as hate. especially if the joke was a fucking pig. Before I move on to my next point, let me just sum up all my points into one quick TLDR. Call people out for being pricks if you want, but understand the situation before you make any further assumptions, and then come to a conclusion based on that. If you're a mod/admin of a server, at that moment, you're a judge. You listen to all sides and then you make a conclusion. But try to bring the rival parties together if you want to be the hero so much. I know it's not your job, but let's be honest here, there's so many children in this community, and by children, I mean mentally child, regardless of physical age. The reason so much negativity goes around in this community is due to a lack of communication with all parties involved. My next point is about one thing representing the complete community. For example, that ISIS Splatoon team a couple months back. Many people found it offensive. I will not speak on behalf of the team, because I do not know whether their intentions were to offend or as a joke. If they wanted to offend people, again, everyone has the right to call them out. However, if it was a joke, well then it's certainly a fucked up one by most people's standards, but humour is subjective. But enough at that point. A few people decided to say that they represent the whole community and scarred the quote-unquote public image. That's fucking stupid. What one group of people do does not represent everyone in the Splatoon community. That's like trying to say all terrorists represent Muslims or all rapist priests represent all Catholic priests. Do not try and create a stereotype. Now I know people only do this to protect the image of Splatoon to the outsider, but if the outsider can't comprehend that one thing does not represent all, well, that person will be like that for all things, not just the Splatoon community. I suppose what I'm trying to say is, maintain a public image to a degree. Like, don't let a group of kids spam porn in your server, or your server will have a bad public image. But don't censor everything each individual says, if it's not offensive. Overall, a few people, not all, need to lighten the fuck up. An analogy I'll use is the Google filter tool. Some people are on the high filter, so bring yourselves down to a moderate. My final point is about donations. Okay, so a lot of people are on Twitter begging for donations for a new fucking Switch. Yeah, you have every right to, there's nothing against the law about it, and everybody has the option to donate or not. But yeah, I've got to admit, it's kinda scummy. Now, some people ask for donations for a cause, like a sick family member, injuries, etc. That's okay, I guess. I mean, there's plenty of ways to get money, but yeah, it's extra income for a good cause. But asking money for a Switch is ridiculous. Like, what do the people get out of it when they donate? To watch you play on Twitch? Actually, that's probably the trade-off thinking about it. But still, it's a bit of a controversial matter that I personally, in my opinion, do not agree with. Quick extra point. Why do people get pissed over being pinged on Discord? There's a fucking mute button, you degenerate. Use it. And yeah, I mean that. I just insulted people who get annoyed over pings. You can A, go ahead, mute notifications, make your life easier. Or B, call me out and raise your blood pressure in a heated comment. Okay, in conclusion to this whole video, my points/beliefs are not clear all the time. For example, how is calling Dadzy the N-word and roasting Dadzy's hairline not the same thing? Like, how different are they really? This annoys me, to be honest. As shit I can be with maths, I like structure. I like a system to follow, a mathematical function, equation if you will. However, my issue is I try to bring that logic into social human communication, which is an abstract concept which cannot be accurately measured. Honestly, it would be pretty shitty if talking to someone was like adding 2 plus 2, because randomness and variety make us human and each of us unique. However, common sense theoretically should be the playing factor in this, but everyone's version of common sense seems to be different, from either small amounts to large amounts. So, should it be really called common sense? I suppose what I'd like in everyone else really is a middle ground, where everyone can agree on things. However, if things were that simple, we wouldn't have wars, hate, crime, etc. I also made a few points that I don't agree with myself. For example, I personally think you can control whether words impact you greatly or not. If you don't know what I mean by that, I'll put it into a simple mathematical function. Let's just say on a scale of 1 to 10 is how impactful an insult is, with 1 being not that much and 10 being really offensive. Now let's insert these numbers into an equation. A plus B equals X. A is equal to an offensive joke. B is equal to the impact you have. Think of it as mass and pressure, but you control pressure. Say 1 plus 10 is equal to a small joke, but you getting offended really badly over it because you allowed it. And then say 10 plus 5 is equal to a really offensive joke that kind of bothers you, but you wouldn't freak out too much. Let's just say someone keeps repeating the joke, so 10 plus 5 becomes 20 plus 5, and so on and so on. The joke is most likely won't become offensive as much as it'd be annoying. That's when you can just tell someone to fuck off and stop. Well, that's how I see it anyways. The math isn't great as the total doesn't define which part was the impactful of the base joke, but like I said, you can't put stuff like this into accurate math. A 10 to you could be a 2 to me. Enough of that though, this took a philosophical turn for a Splatoon related channel, but there you go. That's all I have to say. If you agree with me, great. If you don't, support your arguments with valid reasoning and not "fuck you, I dab on you hater, Jake Paul is for life." Anyways, thanks for taking the time to listen.